Action!
On guard, today we are finishing this episode, this case, this trial. On guard. We gonna finish this today. Right. So just real quick. Just wanted to reset the Elgato. Okay. We in this. Also, I'm gonna check something real quick. I hope that my screenshots have been saving because I've not actually checked. Seems like they have. They sure have. Okay. Great. All good to go. Court is back in session for the trial of Damien Tenma. Apollo Justice, defense team leader, is ready, Your Honor. Athena Sykes, assistant defender, is ready, too, Your Honor. Je suis prêt. Chipper as ever, I see, and in French, no less. And the prosecution? By the way, I asked Detective Fulbright to provide sturdier shackles today. There will be no more of your funny business this time, Prosecutor Blackwell. I wanted him to break them again right there and then, by the way. Now, your opening statement, if you would. I believe it's standard procedure for the prosecution to handle it. Oh, he's not doing it today. He's not fucking around today. Looks like the judge is really bringing it today. He probably realized how Blackwell played him. That was one mean game of Simon Says. Yeah, His Honor has to fight to defend His Honor today. Your boldness. It's plain to see that you've always dreamed of delivering an epic opening statement. I have? I don't know if I'd say that. Why, of course you have. I saw it in your eyes the last time you gave the opening statement. That was the look of one who yearns deeply for the thrill of an epic opening statement. For decades now, you've been watching opening statements from your bench. They were the crown jewels of the court, the one thing you could not possess. The crown jewels of the court? Now, at long last, they are within your grasp. How could you possibly refuse? So you don't mind if I do it then? I'll make a special exception, just this once. Here we go again. Yep, more of Blackwell's mind games. Well, in that case, I think I might go ahead and make the opening statement myself. Ahem. In yesterday's session, we learned the shocking truth that he is him. It was further revealed that Mayor Damien murdered him. The fact that the crime took place in a the fact that this case is a locked room mystery was also brought to light, and the only people in that room were the victim and the defendant. The defense proposed the existence of a third party, but further investigation revealed no proof of a third party who had escaped the room. Ergo, we must conclude that the evidence against the defendant is well conclusive. Did I say something wrong? That was quite astonishing. You've truly outdone yourself this time. Oh, one more thing to boast about to my grandchild. Well, this was not an unexpected turn of events. Now then, it seems the prosecution has called a new witness to testify. The inexplicable yokai evidence left at the scene of the crime. Well, does that not demand some sort of explanation? The feathers and tracks, weren't those left by the mayor while he was possessed? That was but an act to protect his daughter. Oh, Yes, of course, I had suspected as much. Wait, did he actually believe the mayor's award-winning performance? His daughter was the one who planted the yokai evidence. Ergo, the true identity of the yokai in the manor was the manor's maid, Jinxie Tenma. Nuh-uh. The prosecution is engaging in mere conjecture. Would you care for some witness testimony then? For I am ready to prove that the little scamp is the one behind the Tenmo Taro farce. Witness testimony? I bet he means filching that creep LaBelle. Very well then. Bailiff, would you bring in the first witness? Mr. Filch, you made quite the words. I'm getting my letters jumbled the fuck up. 1 second. Ugh. Okay, we're fine. Mr. Filch, you made quite the hasty exit yesterday. See that it doesn't happen again today. Been known for my hasty retreats since I was a kid. Bit of a trademark of mine. Indeed, you managed to give a total of 5 bailiffs the slip. Like those amateurs could ever nab me, eh? Perhaps we should shackle you by the neck. That would keep you in place. Yipes, no please! I'm liable to rip my own head off if I start running. Your statement, now. Yes sir, Mr. Blackhead, sir. Maybe you may beat a hasty retreat, but there's no escaping for Prosecutor Blackwell. Yeah, Blackwell doesn't strike me as the give-up easy type. Now then, Mr. Filch, your testimony, please. Specifically, the true nature of the yokai you saw in the manor shortly after the crime. Tenmo Taro's really that little maid gal. Ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Tenmo Taro I saw was just a little thing about her size. But the little runt had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the foyer. Betcha she stole it from the Forbidden Chamber after stumbling on the crime scene. She was going to use it to wallop me on the account of my fierce reputation. I just know it. So Tenmo Taro was short in stature. And that was because it was Miss Jinxie Tenma all along. You betcha. Besides, all the rest of the manor were way taller than her. Feigning height is but an easy thing. But a big ox like the defendant could never pass for short. What if the Tenma Taro impersonator was walking on their knees? Weren't no knee walking, I seen it myself. Then perhaps that yokai really was Miss Tenma after all. All monsters are naught but tricks, either of the mind or the cheap parlor variety. So you're saying she created an illusion like one of those magical eye things? Precisely. Human senses are easily deceived. Take the fellow in the cell next to me. Each night he cries and screams about some ghost he thinks he sees. But in truth, it was simply the janitor. Oh, Prosecutor Blackwell just gave up the ghost, literally. The janitor's deathly complexion and all white attire are no doubt partially to blame. That and the fact that he constantly mutters about vengeance or this or that. That actually sounds like a real ghost to me. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Tenma Taro's really that little maid girl, ain't no doubt about it. I mean, the Tenma Taro I saw was just a little girl about her size, but the little runt had a big old staff. I seen it when she came into the forum. I bet she stole it from the Forbidden Chamber after stumbling on the crime scene. No, wrong. She didn't have the key. She didn't have the key. We need to prove that Jinxie isn't Tenma Taro, but I've no idea how we're going to do that. All we have to do is prove that it was impossible for Jinxie to turn into Tenma Taro. And that might be easier than you think. Really? Now's our chance. A chance to expose the real Tenma Taro for us all to see. Oh, word. Yeah, bet. Okay. I should save. But I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Objection!
Yes. It would seem that Tenma Taro was in fact not this innocent little girl. Huh? How you figure that? You claim the Tenma Taro you saw had one of those stays from the Forbidden Chamber. but it would have been impossible for Miss Tenma to get a hold of one. Care to elaborate, Mr. Justice? The mayor swallowed this key shortly after the murder. He wanted to keep the killer out of the Forbidden Chamber. Oh, he hates this. He didn't know. He didn't know. This key was deep in the mayor's stomach when Miss Tenma discovered the crime scene. So you see, it would have been impossible for her to get into the Forbidden Chamber. In short, the Tenma Taro seen holding that staff could not have been Jinxie Tenma. Oof, damage. Here we go. Here's our opening salvo. But excuse me. Yeah, see. Then who does the defense believe was impersonating Tenma Taro? Our Tenma Taro impersonator is none other than Tenma's aide. Huh? Such accusations beg evidence. Aside from his ghastly appearance, can you prove he is the yokai we seek? Yes, in fact, I can. Very well. Let's see where the defense is going with this. We want this one.
Take that!
We found this hand cream in the Forbidden Chamber. And we know that whoever was Tenma Taro took one of the staves out of there. In short, I believe whoever this hand cream belongs to is the yokai impersonator we're looking for. But Mr. Justice, how do you propose to identify the hand cream's owner? I'm glad you asked, Your Honor. Where did it... Sorry, I got distracted by Apollo Justice's bracelet. Where did he get it from originally? I forgot. Anyway, doesn't matter now. Putting it out there. The defense requests a fingerprint analysis on this piece of evidence. It might tell us who it belongs to. Interesting. So you expect to find the yokai's prints there? Very well. I hereby call a short recess while we wait for the fingerprint results. No need for that, Your Boldness. We have the prints of everyone at the manor that day. You call Professor... I keep saying Professor. You call Prosecutor Blackwell? Could anyone be more whipped? Fulbright, analyze this for prints. You have 3 minutes. Your wish is my command. Very well then. I guess we'll just wait right here. I guess we will. It would seem the fingerprint analysis is complete. What did the results show? What in the world? They're Florent Labelle's prints, aren't they? This is absurd. Prosecutor Blackwell? I'm not going to like this, am I? Don't tell me they're Tenma Taro's prints. Fingerprints analysis has revealed that the prints belong to Dawn. Phineas Filch. Oh, shit. Hey, Sophie, how are we doing? Howdy. How are you doing? Oh, shit. That is not who we were expecting.
Objection!
Wait, what? The Mr. LaBelle wasn't the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber?
Objection!
Why, you tricksy little tanuki. Explain yourself now. Sure. The prints are mine. I mean, I did pilfer that hand cream off Mr. LaBelle after all. Good, how's it going? It's going well. I feel like I'm rolling back into my natural sort of not sleep schedule-ish. All thanks to this bad boy here that I'm still streaming. This has been a crazy case. We've just started the courtroom side of the investigation now. I don't know how much. If you want to follow along, I don't know how much you remember of like what's been going on. But to give a brief lowdown, this guy got killed. He's been convicted of it. He definitely didn't do it. This person did it, but we need to prove that he did it. Basically, that's the lowdown. So you're the one who entered the Forbidden Chamber. So what if I did? Got a problem with it? Yipes! You fool of a tanuki. Oh, Blackwell hates it. Order, order! Mr. Justice, care to explain what this could mean? Excellent question. The fact that Mr. Filch was in the Forbidden Chamber. Wait a second. Does this mean that the Tenma Taro holding that staff was Phineas Filch? Yipes! Another cat out of the bag! Mr. Filch is Tenma Taro? He's standing on a box. What was that? Sorry. Nice monster choice. I was gonna go for Pipeline Punch, but I drank Pipeline Punch yesterday. Got no clue what's going on, but I do remember the French guy. Fair enough. Well, hopefully you'll be able to follow along either way. In some form or fashion. Does this mean that Mr. Filch is the killer? He's a scapegoat for sure. Oh, absolutely. Defo is a scapegoat. Or something else is going on. The witness will explain himself this instant. Begging your pardon, your honorship, but I was just doing what the alderman told me. He wanted me to be Tenma Taro in the village exorcism ritual. Oh, you mean the event at the Nine Tails Veil Festival? So that was you inside the Tenma Taro costume? Yep. And after the event, I went to watch that pro wrestling program. But it bore me to tears on account of the wrestlers being complete jobbers. So we didn't actually watch the entire wrestling match. That's when I looked at the Tenma Taro costume and got a great idea. Nobody can tell it's me while I'm wearing it. And because of them superstitions, no matter what I do, the villagers won't say a word. In other words, you use the superstitions to effectively render yourself invisible. Why did you want to enter the Forbidden Chamber in the first place? Because of the treasure there. Thought that was my big chance to sneak on in and nab it. Treasure? Oh yeah, you mentioned about how your granddad was Robin Hood basically, and there was treasure in the chamber. He went in there not knowing his grandfather had already pilfered it. Guess that's one tale that didn't get passed down from grandpappy to grandson. Wait, how exactly did you get into the Forbidden Chamber? There was a meeting in the Fox Chamber that day. Plus, the mayor swallowed the only key that could open the Forbidden Chamber's door. You couldn't have possibly gotten in. I could through the air vent in the foyer. The vent's left of the alderman's picture. Oh, that one there? I went on in and made a nice little hole. Used that to get into the air duct that leads to the Forbidden Chamber, I did. You what? But how's that even possible? Wait a sec. Remember that air vent in the Forbidden Chamber at the upper right of the screen for anyone watching? Top right. So Mr. Filch found a way to get into that air duct. And that's how he got from the foyer vent to the Forbidden Chamber vent. So Tenma Taro was nothing more than a cat burglar, or rather a tanuki burglar. We're back to being without anyone to charge for the alderman's murder. Looks like our so-called yokai is nothing more than one big troublemaker. Tell me, Mr. Filch, what did you do after fleeing to the foyer? I got out of that costume right quick. Would have just caused trouble at that point. And where is that costume now? Heck if I know. And it ain't my fault if you never find it. The police searched every nook and cranny. No yokai costume was left in that manor. What if it was tossed outside the manor? Ah! No way. But maybe, just maybe, the Tenma Taro that we saw flying was actually just chucked away. Like that, off the cliff. No way. The defense seems to have hit upon an idea. Well, go on, Mr. Justice. Okay, here's what I think. Let me save the game. Mr. Filch, did you get rid of the costume here? Out the window?
Take that!
Did you toss it out the window? Because that would certainly explain why it didn't turn up inside the manor. You think I tossed it out the window? That costume cost me a pretty penny. So why would I go do something like that? I can think of a few reasons. Any bright ideas, Apollo? Well, assuming the costume really was tossed out from the window, then the next question would be, what happened to it after that? And if I'm right, I might have just the thing to prove what happened to the costume. Phineas Filch, I have just the evidence for you. You do? This evidence proves you got rid of your Tenma costume right through the window. I'm guessing it's this. The special edition paper. Ah, that's Tenma Taro flying through the sky. Just how does that prove Mr. Filch threw his costume out the window? It's quite simple. That's not Tenma Taro in the photo. It's the costume Mr. Filch threw out. Oh, that's crazy talk. You ain't serious, are you? There's a steep cliff right outside the foyer window, meaning the man is pretty high up. The costume flew through the air after it was tossed out. That's when the photo was taken. In other words, the photo of Tenma Taro really was a flight of fancy. What? Well, we're getting somewhere now. Oh my, so there really was never a yokai. Oh, I can't keep any of them cats bagged. Can I still file a claim for the lost costume? This more than proves the defense's position. Jinxie Tenma had nothing to do with staging the yokai sighting. Care to raise any objections, Prosecutor Blackwell? None whatsoever. I'll deal with that Trixie Tanuki after I've dealt with this case. We did it. Get going. Now all we have to do is make Florent LaBelle take the stand. Oh, wait. Huh? Sheathing the sword a bit early, are we not? Huh? Nothing has been proven beyond a doubt. Nothing has been proven beyond a doubt. Take this tricksy little Tanuki, for instance. How do you suppose he was able to exit the Forbidden Chamber? Probably the same way he got in, through the chamber's air vent. And what of the feathers and tracks at the scene of the crime? They would suggest that the Tanuki exited through the chamber door, not the air vent. But the Forbidden Chamber doesn't open from the inside, so what you're saying makes no sense. Right? Someone on the outside opened the door for you, isn't that right? Yep, that's right, Mr. Blackjack. The door suddenly sprung right open. Sprung right open? Who was on the other side? Didn't get a good look on the account of the sudden glare. Like how the reflection from my head blinds fellow moviegoers emerging from the dark. That's when I snatched that staff and made my daring escape. Then that little maid girl spotted me as I hightailed it down the hall. That means the Forbidden Chamber wasn't open until after the crime was discovered. But wait, we still don't know who opened it. Maybe there really was a third person in the Fox Chamber. Well, you little Tanuki, when the Forbidden Chamber opened, did you see the accused passed out there? Nope, only one there was the alderman, and he was dead as a doornail. If the accused wasn't there, what do you suppose he was up to? Uh-oh, I don't like where this is going. Ah, don't tell me. Plainly, the only one who could have opened the Forbidden Chamber was the accused, Damien Tenma.
Hold it!
Nuh-uh. Wait a second. There had to be somebody else besides Mayor Tenma there. Really? And who might that be? Oh, well, that would be...
Jackson.
It seems our feisty little lass has forgotten the most important thing. Evidence. I didn't forget. I was just testing your attention to details. Miss Sykes, you can't prove your point without proof of some sort. It's a proven fact. Sorry, guess I put my foot in my mouth again. No, Athena, we're definitely onto something here. We are? Think about it. If Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber, one of the alibis we heard would no longer hold any water. Huh? Wait. If Mr. Filch was stuck inside the Forbidden Chamber, none of the alibis we heard. Oh, LaBelle. Someone who knew Mr. Filch was stuck in the Forbidden Chamber, and by virtue of knowing this, has an alibi that no longer adds up. Ah, not that insufferable. Very well, the court will hear what Mr. Justice has to say. Whose alibi no longer stands up? Literally, you two.
Take that!
He said he was with Mr. Filch at the foyer at the time of the murder. Why, that's the defendant's aide, Florent LaBelle. Didn't he claim to be in the foyer at the time of the crime? True, but in his alibi, he also claimed Mr. Filch was in the foyer too. However, as we all know now, Mr. Filch was not there with Mr. LaBelle at the time. In short, Mr. LaBelle's alibi has disappeared. Florent LaBelle's alibi was one big lie. Isn't that right, Mr. Filch? I reckon there ain't no keeping that cat in the bag here. Neither. It was all Mr. LaBelle's idea. He told me he'd button his lip about me breaking into the Forbidden Chamber, and in return, he said he vouched for each other's alibi. Shame on you, Mr. Filch. Perjury is a serious crime, you know. And it happens all the time in this fucking series. Oh, shucks. Mercy, you're on the ship. Mercy. I also assert that the person who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch was none other than Florent LaBelle. After all, his alibi has just been proven to be a complete fabrication. I see. We will take a 20-minute recess, after which time we will see what Mr. LaBelle has to say for himself. Yes, we're finally going to drag that slippery snake onto the stand. In the meantime, the prosecution will question Mr. LaBelle about these new allegations. Oh, with these allegations, LaBelle ain't beating them. I'll tell you what. Whew. We did it, Apollo. We finally dragged Mr. LaBelle into court. Yeah. Hey, why the long face? I can't help but feel I'm missing something important. Plus, Prosecutor Blackwell's bound to mount a counterattack. You really are a worry-wart, aren't you? It'll be fine. That mystery figure who opened the Forbidden Chamber for Mr. Filch had to have been Mr. Florent LaBelle. I know, but that's not what's bugging me. I wish I could put my finger on it, though. At any rate, the big showdown with Mr. LaBelle is up next, so chin up, Apollo. Okay. He's great. That's just the fucking Joker. Our next witness is, that's just the Joker taking calls. That's just the Joker. What are we doing here? Yes, I'm acting on behalf of the mayor in this very important matter. It seems the witness is predisposed at the moment. Surely you jest. I will hold you to your promise. Remember that. Oh, my deepest apologies. This is Florent LaBelle, personal aide to Mayor Tenma, or should I say, the accused. Ouch, like the poor mayor hasn't suffered enough. Well, what business do you have with me? I'm a very busy man, so let's make this as brief as possible. Your boldness. Right. Mr. Filch's testimony has revealed a hole in your alibi, and for this reason, you are suspected of having some sort of connection with the case at hand. To think I'd be associated with this entirely lurid is a word I've never heard before. Just gonna Google that one. Unpleasantly bright in color, especially so as to create a harsh or unnatural effect. Or presented in vividly shocking or sensational terms. The more lurid, aka the more lurid details of the massacre were too frightening for the children. Right, okay, understood. I understand what it means. Well, I'm not. So may I go now? I have very important matters to attend to. You ain't going nowhere, son. Do you realize what a serious crime you've committed? Perjury, my friend. Witness, you are being accused of perjury. This is your chance to clear the air. Fine. The truth is, I faked my alibi for a very good reason. The mayor was obviously the killer, so I created a fake alibi to confuse the matter. You see, as his personal aide, I felt I had to protect him. Sorry. Bro, that's still perjury. Oh, you think this is funny? Without your alibi, you're a suspect too. What were you really doing at the time of the crime? Peasant. How dare you accuse me, one of the beautiful people, of being... Stop stalling and tell the court what you were really doing at the time of the crime. Oh. Enough jabbering. Swords have been drawn. The time for talk is past. Yo, that's aura right there. That's aura. Sword? What swords? This is a duel to the death. The fate of the accused rests in our hands. Be gone, ye of cowardly heart. You broke them again. The battlefield has no place for ye. Again? Oh my. Spare me, please. He's broken the shackles again. So much for sturdier shackles. Oop, fuck. Those chains hindered my vow that the heads would roll this day. This gives keeping your head on in a court a whole new meaning. Will the witness please deliver the accused's death knell? You know of what I speak. Most certainly, his goose is already cooked. Time to stick a fork in him. Whatever he has to say can't be good. As I told Prosecutor Blackwell during the recess... Sorry, one sec. Mommy, I'm fine. Okay. I rushed right over to the Fox chamber when I heard little Jinxie scream. What? Then, drumroll please, I saw Mayor Tenma opening the Forbidden Chamber doors. But there you have it. The mystery man who opened the chamber door, as witnessed by one Phineas Filch, it was the accused. There was never any third party. Oh, and that's not all. I heard something quite startling there at the scene of the crime. Startling sounds bad. The mayor, who was barely conscious, muttered this. Forgive me, Jinxie, I killed the alderman. That's right, the mayor actually confessed to the murder right then and there. He confessed? Surely not. Order in the court. This is quite conclusive testimony if it stands. Just so. And quite astonishing, I might add. I only learned of this fact during the recess. I just love surprises, don't you? That's why I saved the best for last. Consider it a gift from me to you. No way. I don't believe Mr. LaBelle heard the mayor confess. But is this really true? Did Mayor Tenma really confess? It is indeed. During that last recess, I confirmed it with the mayor's daughter. It would seem Mayor Tenma actually did confess. But the Jinxie told us that she never told you this. That testimony is quite favorable to the prosecution's... This is LaBelle. Yes, I called earlier about the party reservations. That's right. Now I'll be calling my little shindig Mayor Tenma's conviction gala is crazy. That's your boss. A splendid time is guaranteed for all but the mayor and his defense. Well, as it seems, our witness is a very busy man. Let's get right to his testimony. Diabolical work, Emblem Mysterious. Mr. LaBelle, please tell us what you saw when you came upon the scene of the crime. I was in the hallway hiding in the shadows. Bro, we're talking about third parties. Bro, there's like everyone was involved. What the fuck? That's when I heard the confession. Upon learning of her father's crime, little Jinxie fled without ever noticing me. Immediately after that, the mayor came too, stood up and opened the Forbidden Chamber. As I ran in terror, the demon emerged from his prison. In shock, I fled down the hallway to my right, to the one with the phone at the end. What? I must say, this is a shocking revelation. Unexpected. Quite unexpected. None of that makes sense. To think that the defendant actually confessed to the crime. Perhaps the guilt was too much to bear, so he confided in his daughter. You do realize you should not have withheld such crucial testimony from the court. Once again, sorry. It's just I feared being accused if I mentioned coming upon the most unpleasant scene. Ugh, why did the mayor's confession have to be brought up by this guy? You better do something before the judge declares the mayor guilty. As a death row inmate once told me in years gone by, there is a time to fight and a time to yield, a time to live and a time to die. He's laying it on real thick now. The defense may cross-examine the witness now. Something's off. Particularly about the last bit you said. One with the phone at the end? Wait, am I right? One with the phone at the end. If we don't find some way to poke a hole in his testimony, Mayor Tenma's as good as guilty. This is bad, very bad. We need to find an inconsistency, a mistake, some kind of conflict. It's all over if we can't find a flaw in the prosecution's case. So after you fled into the hallway with the phone at the end, Tenma Taro ran off toward the foyer? Precisely. Notice any inconsistencies, Apollo? Well, Jinxie also saw Tenma Taro. Yeah, as I was thinking. She did. She said they passed each other in the hall after she made that call to the police. Well, if LaBelle had fled down the hall where the phone is, Jinxie would have seen him when she was returning from making her call. Oh, right. And if she saw him, she would have definitely asked him for help. Right. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Yeah? She couldn't call for help because there was no one else in the hall.
Objection!
I should have fucking saved. Because what if I was wrong? Florent LaBelle, you're lying about having witnessed these events from the hallway. What on earth do you mean? Yes, care to fill the rest of us in, Mr. Justice? If Mr. LaBelle had really fled down the hall with the phone in it, he would have crossed paths with Miss Tenma. What's this? After she discovered the crime scene, she immediately went to call the police. Then after making her call, she went back into the main hallway, whereupon she encountered the demon, yokai or whatever you want to call it. As for me, I call it Phineas Filt in a Tenma Taro costume. The encounter happened right there, where the hallways meet. As for Mr. LaBelle, if he had fled here, feigning escape from the yokai imposter, why yes, the two would have crossed paths. Right, except Miss Tenma told us that there was no one else in the hall. In short, Miss Tenma did not see you in the hall because you were never really there. My eyes, my beautiful eyes! Ha, not such a fabulous scent now, is it? Mr. Justice, the witness also stated he heard the mayor confess. If he was lying about hearing the confession from the hall, then where was he when he heard it? Inside the Fox chamber, where else? But isn't that within the very crime scene? Within the very crime... Huh? Did I read that right? Yeah, within the very crime scene. It is, Your Honor, and that means he's not really a witness. Rather, he's the third party I've been alleging this entire time. What? You think I'm the killer? How dare you? Oh. No, not taking it lying down. Foolish fop. A true man knows when he is beaten. A shield of lies comes to naught before a foe with the sword of truth bared. Prosecutor Blackwell, what are you? I thought we were on the same side. Oh. You are mistaken. There are no sides here, save for my cold, steely edge of judgment. You are alone upon this battlefield, with naught but your lies and sickly sweet perfume. Whoa, what just happened? Blackwell's really tearing into him. You heard the mayor's confession from the inside, did you not, you deviant dandy? For the sole location from which you could have seen and heard the mayor and the Tanuki, without either of them noticing you were right there in the fox chamber. Oh my, so that's how it's going to be? Fine, I'll come clean then. Seriously? You admit to being there in the fox chamber? I do. I did enter the room after the murder, but I was afraid of being falsely accused, so I lied about it. Perjury again, Your Honor. I feel terrible about lying like that, but it's a verbal cologne I use to protect myself. You'd better explain yourself, Mr. LaBelle. Oh, of course. I was just about to get to that. The witness is skating on thin ice. I'll remind you that perjury is a very serious crime. Now, let's hear your testimony again, this time without your perfume of lies. I did enter the fox chamber after the murder, but I didn't enter until after Jinxie had heard the confession and left. I heard the mayor groan and hid behind the folding screen there. What I saw there up close, it was absolutely horrifying. So you see, I was there, but merely watching from behind the screen. Okay. From behind the screen? Why, yes, I believe you wouldn't be spotted if you were there. Just so. He could see everything without being spotted by the victim or that Tanuki Filch. Suffice to say, he was a mere witness to the events, rather than an actual third party. This guy's as slippery as an eel. Apollo, you think he's telling the truth? Well, he was in the fox chamber, so at least that much must be true. The defense may cross-examine our slightly voyeuristic witness. Okay. Entered the fox chamber. Didn't after Jinxie left. Had the mayor groan and hid behind the phone screen. What I saw up there up close was absolutely horrifying. What did you see?
Hold it!
Could you describe the crime scene in a bit more detail? And what exactly would you like details about? Well, what I'd like to ask you about is... the feathers and tracks. What do you remember about the yokai feathers and tracks? They resulted when Tenma Taro exited the Forbidden Chamber. He came out in quite a rush, scattering his feathers this way and that. Did you immediately know it was Mr. Filch? I did, and that's why I suggested we cook up our alibis together. And how did those practice sessions go? They were nearly the death of me. Filchy has to be the most terrible student ever. Really doesn't think he's done anything wrong, does he? Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider his statement to be of any importance? Not really. Though, if I go back on there was another option.
Hold it!
The murder weapon? What was the murder weapon? Was it this? It was this, wasn't it? No. Wait. No, that's not the murder weapon. That's what was used to knock Tenma out. Right? On the head. The murder weapon is the spear. Yeah, it was the spear. Could you describe the state of the weapons that had been used at the scene? The spear had been thrust all the way through Alderman QB. Then there was that statue the Alderman used to bludgeon Mayor Tenma. That incredibly inspiring symbol had fallen to the floor. Oh right, the statue. But why would it find it inspiring? Why exactly did you find the statue inspiring? Well, when I saw that statue, I felt as if the merger had been realized. It was like a celebration of union between town and village, an inspiring symbol of goodwill. A broken statue next to a bloody corpse, real inspiring. Well, Mr. Justice, do you consider this to be of any importance? Hell yeah. You shouldn't know what it looks like. Not the Franziska von Karma joining the Legion. Welcome to the Legion, the Franziska von Karma. Hope you're having a wonderful day, or night, or evening. I believe that to be extremely important. Add it to the testimony. Yeah, sorry. So, this would have happened. A statue had fallen to the floor. There's no way you would know what it looked like before. There's no way you would know what it looked like before it broke. Also, the text says Jinxie is now the only one who knows what it looks like. Your lies have finally betrayed you, Mr. LaBelle. What possibly could you mean? You said this statue was like a celebration of union between town and village. Isn't that correct? It is indeed, but what of it? The two yokai are joining hands in goodwill, as if they were celebrating the municipal merger. Something the matter? So, how did you really know that this statue was meant to be a symbol of goodwill again? What? Justice Dono, explain yourself and make it quick. Sure thing. This statue was meant to symbolize goodwill in its original form, but that was a secret. A secret? Whatever do you mean? What I mean is that it broke when someone used it to strike Mayor Tenma on the head. What's left clearly makes it look like the two yokai are battling it out. The statue's secret and its true form were lost inside that locked room, for Miss Tenma is the only living soul who should know what it once looked like. So, Mr. LaBelle, where could you have possibly seen the statue in its original form? What do you mean, where? The only possible answer is this. You saw the statue in its original form. Right there in the room where the alderman was murdered, before it was broken. How dare you? Mr. Justice, are you accusing the witness of some sort of crime? Hell yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Florent LaBelle, I accuse you of the murder of Alderman Rex Kyubi. Yo, he's crashing out. Order! Mr. LaBelle, you've been accused of murder. Do you have anything to say in your defense? How could you possibly accuse me, the embodiment of beauty? Way to go, Apollo. This is the conclusive evidence we needed. Magnifico. He's tweaking out, honestly. We've got you now. We know you killed the alderman. Now admit it. Oh boy, Blackwell. He hates it. Enough of your silly games, Justice Dono. This prancing peacock could not possibly be the killer. What are you talking about? His alibi already crumbled to dust, and I just proved that he was in the Fox chamber while it was still locked tight. Why could he have not seen the statue in its true form before the murder? After all, he was close friends with the alderman. Ergo. Yes, that's right. I clearly remember it now. Alderman Kyubi told me about it. About what the statue actually looked like. I mean, he was a good friend of mine. Yeah, right. He wouldn't show you a secret gift just like that. Moreover, it has already been proven that he was not proven. He was there. I can't speak today. Give me a... Moreover, it has already been proven that he was not present at the scene of the crime. It has. Forgotten, have we? Recall the little scamp's statement, if you will. When Jinxie Tenma unlocked the Fox chamber, she saw the alderman and the mayor collapse therein. No one else. Oh, dang it. The fact is, it was you two who made that apparent in yesterday's court session. Thus, Florent LaBelle could not possibly have been in that locked room. Alright, okay. I just don't get it. How could Jinxie not have seen LaBelle? The proof is incontrovertible. No room for debate exists. Am I not right, your boldness? It does seem awfully conclusive. The facts point to the defendant and victim being the only people in that locked room. Moreover, the defendant has already confessed.
Objection!
We don't know that.
Silence!
Yo! You cannot defend the indefensible. Your role in this charade is over, Justice Dono. Your boldness. This trial would last an eternity if we were to keep crossing blades with these simpletons. It is high time you brought down the hammer of justice. A point well made. I believe it's time to declare a verdict. This court finds the defendant, Damien Tenma, Tenma. Yeah, I thought so. It would seem that my time is at hand. Mayor Tenma? Counselor, there is a matter to which I must testify. I recall it now only for your good graces. Counsel? Oh, he must mean me. Has he finally remembered what happened before that blow to his head? Bailiff, don't just stand there, seize him. It's no good, I can't restrain him. Know me and despair, for I am Tenma Taro, demon lord of the yokai. Mr. Justice, do something. Since when am I responsible for court security? Apollo, this is our chance. Excuse me, we might get some new information out of him. Your Honor, seeing as our client has something new to say, I believe due process demands that we hear him out, even if he is a yokai. When you put it that way. Still, I believe testimony by a yokai is unprecedented in the legal world. You have a literal criminal acting as prosecutor, but sure. Unprecedented in absurdity, more like. Alright then, Mr. Damien Tenma, or should I say Mr. Tenma Taro, your testimony, please. I shall now speak of recollections most real, courtesy of my host, Damien Tenma. Heed these words, mortal, for hear them once you shall. Oh boy. Barely conscious was Damien there amid the darkness. Suddenly, two yokai did appear. On one side, I, Tenma Taro, ruler of demon kind, and on the other, my mortal enemy, the nine-tailed fox. That wasn't much of a testimony. So, is the defendant asserting that the room he was in was very dark at the time? Strange as it may be, yes, indeed all was in darkness. And the part about Tenma Taro and the nine-tailed fox being there? Yes, that too. Tenma Taro towered overhead, and the nine-tailed fox glittered gold. What the hell is Why is Tucker attacking me? I call animal abuse, Your Honor. It would seem the defendant's recollections are not to be trusted. Yes, well, truth be told, my host's recollections are still a bit fuzzy, as if half dreamt. That happening lingers in his mind. Apollo, maybe I can help here. Really? What do you mean? Yeah, I can hear it. The discord in his heart. I sensed an unusual emotion in the mayor's memory of the event. Okay, I just hope our findings don't come back to haunt us again. Alright, time to open up the computer.